if you want to make money, let's figure something else out. And yeah, I hate it.
Gervonta Davis. It's like when
Who do you got?
You guys need to fight guys your fucking same size.
When you see this fight, do you see like Tank just having his way with Jake? Like given like no?
No, I'm gonna tell you this is what I tell Tank, and Tank said it in the interview. I said, Tank, y'all going there doing y'all thing, woo woo woo. And I said, he ain't giving you nothing.
Dana White didn't hold back when discussing the showdown between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, labeling the entire spectacle as absurd. He berated the notion that Paul could square off against a fighter of Davis's caliber under what he repeatedly called weird and uneven terms. White argued loudly that the rules stacked the deck, making the matchup feel like a show, not a serious sport.
The Jake Paul versus Tank fight is getting really weird. Gervonta looks scared for his life because the rules are out. They're crazy. Oh, so everyone thought that the fight was at 190. Instead it's at 195, and this weight difference is scaring the life out of little Tank.
Over 10 3-minute rounds.
I said it was 190.
The next dispute comes with the gloves. Little Tank is used to fighting in 8-ounce gloves. Baby glove. This fight will be in 12. Hands might be too small. Oh, so Tank just fought in a 12 3-minute round fight against Roach. Yes, and now he's fighting in 10 3-minute rounds, which isn't too bad. Well done, Jake. Exhibition though, can he win? Yes, he can actually win. It will be overlooked by 3 sanctioned judges. So he can actually still win and knock him out. But here's the trick. It's body punches only. And there's a reason. That's because Tank said, look, this is a bit unfair. I don't want to punch up. I want to punch at my head height. Where does it fall? At Jake Paul's belly. Oof. So apparently we've heard there's no knockdown rules, but aside from that, it's a pretty well-rounded fight. Oh yeah, and there's some drug testing involved. But Jake Paul for the win.
Here are the confirmed rules for the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis fight. The bout will be handled as an exhibition match, meaning neither fighter's professional record will be affected. They'll fight 10 rounds of 3 minutes each. Both fighters must weigh in at a maximum of 195 pounds for the fight. Each combatant will wear 12-ounce gloves, heavier than the typical glove size for this level. 3 officially approved judges will score the fight, and there will be a declared winner if the contest goes the distance.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a victor, because the fighters have agreed and the commission has approved a maximum weight of 195 pounds for this exhibition. The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds. The fight is 195 pounds, Tank, as you know. The fight will be contested over 10 3-minute rounds, and when Tank and Jake enter the squared circle to go to battle, they will be wearing 12-ounce gloves. Sitting ringside will be 3 commission-approved world-class professional judges that will score every round to ensure there's a decisive outcome for the fight if it goes the distance. And both men are enrolled in the highest level of testing with USADA. So Tank, Jake, thank you for doing this. Thank you for giving boxing another massive moment, headlined by yourselves, featuring multiple world title fights.
Boxing insiders are raising serious eyebrows about the glove arrangements for Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. In a matchup where Davis is stepping well outside his usual weight class and facing a much heavier opponent, his trainer, Calvin Ford, pointed to the gloves as a major concern. He noted that the fighters are currently set to wear 12-ounce gloves, far heavier than what Davis normally uses in his lightweight bouts.
Actually, when I heard about the fight, they called me and said, what you thought about the fight? I said, the fight doable. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched Tanky for years, and I watched other young men in gyms, you know, deal with big guys. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's big. To me, it's like Jake having his first open fights. If anybody know about the amateurs going open, then you go pro. So, you know, he's a very fighter guy that does have skills. You know what I'm saying? My only concern is, you know, the gloves. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't fight in 12-ounce gloves. We don't use 12-ounce gloves. That's training gloves, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's 2 pounds away from Jake. He fights in 10s. Tank fighting 8s, so he losing 4 ounces. So my thing is, I said, they said, put Tank in 8s, put him in 10s. that makes the fight more interesting. You know what I'm saying? And we'll go from there because I understand. And I brought that question up to one of his handlers. They was, no, we don't want to do no mixed match. It's supposed to be an expedition. Why does it matter? What, you know, now y'all want the wins and the loss. You know what I'm saying? All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying? You know, Tank don't really care, you know. So when I brought this up, he said, dang, facts. You know what I'm saying? So, again, you know, he can weigh the 10s and we weigh the 8s. Then we got to fight, you know.
The weight, how's that going to work out? Like,
Well, they got him at 190, 195. I thought it was going to be 190. So they gave him 5. So, again, they keep giving, you know. I ain't worrying about the weight. You know what I'm saying? We got to deal with it. We taking the fight. We signed the contract. We're going to make it do what it do, you know.
how much do you think he's going to weigh like the night of the fight? Like, yeah, and both. Like, is there anything in place where like Jake can't weigh more than like?
Based on how he handled himself through camp. Camp is the most important thing because if you have a good camp, you're going to have a great fight. So my thing is just making sure the camp is good. We're doing all the necessary things, dealing with the weight, the gloves and all that stuff, you know.
Ford proposes instead that Davis be allowed to fight in his standard 8-ounce gloves, while Paul, competing at a much higher weight, uses 10-ounce gloves. He argues that this would level the playing field more fairly.
Jake, I see y'all doing all this betting and stuff, right? And I'm looking at the fight because I'm his coach. This is a very serious fight, and I'm a very serious person. My question to you is, where did 12-ounce gloves come from? Why y'all couldn't take 10 and he had 8? Already he given up 4 ounces of the gloves. I gotta say this because y'all betting all this money. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, wait, you guys were the ones that wanted 12-ounce gloves, not me. I'll do 8. Fuck, I'll do 4. I'll do 2 ounces. I'll do bare knuckle. Like,
I wasn't aware of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that he can handle himself.
so what do you want? 10 ounce, 8 ounce? What do we
Well,
want?
if he the one said that, I'm gonna go with that. I wasn't aware of that.
No, the 12 ounce came from your guys' side.
No, it did not.
On God, perfect. Then what do you want? 10?
No, I didn't say that.
So 10 ounces.
It don't matter to me. It don't
Perfect.
matter.
It doesn't matter to him. So
It
back
don't
to
matter.
what I always wanted, which was 10 ounces. Great.
Well, you just
Thank
made
you for
something
the.
It don't
clear to
matter.
me. You just
Thank
made
you.
something clear to me because I didn't know because you fight at 10s, he fighting 8s.
Yeah, your
You understand
guys'
what I'm saying?
side.
So I'm like
I
12
can
ounces. He's
show
giving
the
up 4.
emails and the screenshots.
I
You
get
guys
it now.
asked for 12 ounces.
It's part of negotiation. I get it now.
No, let's do it. 10 ounces, 8. Let's do it. That's great. That's going to make it more exciting for the fans. Thank God. I wanted 10s really badly. Let's do it.
Dana White didn't mince words when talking about Jake Paul's matchmaking strategy. He openly criticized Paul for taking on opponents who are far outside his size or competitive class, saying Paul should go fight somebody his own size. White pointed out that when Paul actually squared off with someone of comparable size and ability, he came up short, reinforcing his view that these mismatches aren't doing the sport any favors. White has voiced some blunt thoughts about the highly anticipated bout between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, calling the matchup highly unbalanced. White pointed out that Davis hits way harder but is too small to realistically knock out Paul, given the vast size difference. He says Paul's weight and physical advantage mean that while Davis might have the skills, the odds of him scoring a knockout are slim because he'll struggle to get inside and impose his will.
Gervonta Davis. It's like when
Who do you got?
you guys need to fight guys your fucking same size. You know what I mean?
Straight up ignored.
When you fought Floyd, you are massive. You're a massive fucking dude. Floyd's tiny. And I'm sure when you were training, you're like, all right, I'm going to hit this guy with a couple punches and grab him, tie him up. And he did hit you with a fucking bomb of an overhand right one time. And you fucking ate it. You ate that punch.
Logan's like proud of it. He's like, yeah, I did. Hell yeah, I ate that punch from a 140-pounder. You're damn right, dude. Now, granted, it's Floyd Mayweather, but you're still 200 pounds, dog. You know what I mean? This is why, and I agree with Dana on this, this is why the Gervonta fight makes no sense to me. Because even, yes, Floyd didn't have the punching power Gervonta had, but even if Gervonta lands, I don't see him hurting Jake to the point he knocks him out. So what are we even doing? Where is the idea of this gonna, like, where's the idea that Gervonta is even gonna hurt him? He may hurt him to the body, you know, whatever. Jake doesn't want to throw as much, but I don't see him one punch knocking Jake out. And, you know, the same thing was kind of said with Logan. Like, okay, Floyd probably won't knock him out, but probably going to outbox him. I get where Dana's coming from. These things are not meant to be competitive fights. They're meant to make money and to, I guess, scratch that itch of the circus mystery unknown.
And Gervonta, I think, hits way harder than fucking Floyd, but he's too small. I mean, your brother's going to be able to, you know, get inside on him, put his weight on him, tie him up. But I don't hate your brother. Your brother's out there doing his thing. But it cracks me up that they want to start suing people that are talking shit when your brother talks more shit than anybody talks.
I think the thought process behind it is, okay, so Jake and I are obviously pretty polarizing individuals. And when an echo chamber starts and a rumor mill starts of like staged fight bullshit, which like these fights aren't staged, you know, that's just, it's at that level, it's like almost impossible. I think they think that it affects the business and it affects the brand because people discredit him as actually having legitimate bouts.
According to recent reports, Gervonta Davis has been increasing his body weight during his training camp, now reportedly walking around closer to 160 pounds, even though he's never officially weighed more than the lightweight limit of 135 pounds. This move positions him closer to the catch weight agreed for his exhibition bout against Jake Paul, narrowing the gap and potentially mitigating one of Paul's advantages. The additional size could improve Davis's punch resistance and enhance his power, making him a more formidable and unpredictable opponent. In effect, the bulk up may help him absorb heavier shots and deliver stronger counterattacks, shifting the dynamic of the fight. While still below the agreed catch weight limit, the weight gain signals that Davis is taking the challenge seriously and preparing to show a different version of himself.
Yeah, Gervonta Tank Davis, it's my prediction that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to weigh in on the night of the fight against Jake Paul, knocking on 160 pounds. Don't be surprised if he's 157 pounds, something like that. You guys see this footage? Look at Tank. Now, if you know what you're looking at, the guy must be around 150 right now, 153, something like that. And you can really tell when he's sideways. When you look at him sideways and see the depth. See, from the front view, you can't really tell. But when he turns sideways, the guy is a wrecking ball. He's literally a baby rhino out there. And I think that is the idea for him to bulk up and be a little powerhouse out there. And I'm all for it. I'm going to tell you in this video why I think that's the best thing for Tank and why I think he will be knocking on 160 pounds.
Most boxing experts believe that when Jake Paul steps into the ring with Gervonta Davis, he's in for a harsh reality check. They point out that Davis isn't just powerful. He's spent years honing his craft against top-level opposition, mastering spacing, timing, footwork, and fight IQ, while Paul is still very much refining his game. Davis's precision is so lethal that one perfectly placed shot could turn the fight on its head. Meanwhile, Paul's defense remains raw, his reactions often predictable, and his ring smarts untested at this elite level. True professionals insist that the skill and experience gap here isn't just wide, it's potentially decisive.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta Tank Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14 down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta Tank Davis and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's going to go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all gonna say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis. He needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
A 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
that's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level. And it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilla Killers.
Chilla Killers. Chilla Killers.
Teddy Atlas believes Davis is as close to a complete fighter as boxing has right now. He praises Tank not only for devastating power and finishability, but also for his counter-punching instincts, the way he sets traps, his control of distance, and his mental fortitude in the ring. Atlas sees Davis as patient when needed, deliberate in his actions, and always thinking 2 steps ahead, never simply relying on brute force. In his view, these qualities make Davis the one boxer among the elite lightweights who has all the tools required to potentially beat someone like Jake Paul, whose style is developing, but whose record doesn't yet reflect elite technical refinement.
With a real boxer, a real world champion boxer, that the only other time he was in for the fans to get mad with that was against Fury's, Tommy Fury, but it wasn't that level, obviously, and all the size things you just rightfully pointed out. But he would have been in there with, I mean, it seemed crazy. You're going to go in there with a guy who was a 2-time heavyweight champ and a gold medalist? Wow. Even though the guy's, at a twilight part of his career, still.
And you've given a lot of credit and props to Jake Paul on this show of helping get more eyeballs to the sport, but the way he takes it serious and goes about his approach and his work to this craft, that he does take it seriously. With that being said, when he announces Tank Davis, I'm getting tired of these gimmick fights and him loading the deck up. Whether it was Chavez Jr. or an old Mike Tyson, or we could go on and on with some of the UFC guys and the great Anderson Silva at 46 years of age. Tank Davis, great fighter, current fighter, world champion. We know how good he is. Been a top 10 pound-for-pound guy for you for the last few years now. But he's 5'5" and 135 pounds. This sounds like it would be a 195-pound fight, an exhibition. Wouldn't count on their records. Not a whole lot of other details other than it will be in November, and it sounds like in Atlanta. But I've said enough. I just want to hear your take. What do you make of this news with Jake Paul and Tank Davis?
But, and I'm smiling a little bit. But back in the day, I love the 1800s, 1700s, my friend out there, 1700s, whatever. But I love the old-time fighters. They were catchweights. And there was guys like Sam Langford. I know Sam Langford shouldn't even be comparing him with this because he's so special. But, I mean, where Sam Langford beat heavyweights. He fought from lightweight to heavyweight and beat heavyweights. I mean, back in the day when you had a lot of great fighters fighting each other in catchweights, you did have some smaller guys fight bigger guys, and you had them. You had success in spots. So I'm half with tongue in cheek, but I'm half serious because I've been in the boxing business 50 years.
Luke Thomas has also shared his take on the mega showdown. While he acknowledged Davis's explosive power and elite finishing instincts, Thomas observed a striking lack of enthusiasm from the champion during press conferences and promotional appearances. It appeared that Davis wasn't fully engaging with the fight, his body language coming off as detached, almost as if he viewed it less as a serious athletic challenge and more as a business transaction. Thomas warned that underestimating Paul's motivation and preparation could be dangerous, pointing out that even if Davis is the better boxer on paper, his apparent disinterest might give Paul an unforeseen edge.
Pereira in MMA. Do you feel the same? Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument that Tyson Fury also didn't stick to the order of what was in front of him as a pure boxer due to taking I can't even remember if one on his record at this point or not, but whatever, the Francis Ngannou boxing match, and he went it by the skin of his teeth and moved on. But there was a delay as a consequence to make that. Now that ended up being a little bit intriguing because of how well Francis did, but that's this is not the first time major boxing has been interrupted in that way. However, at least both of them are heavyweights. Like this is gerrymandered weight classes or whatever the fuck they're doing to get around it. And it's an exhibition, they're using big ass gloves. Like it's a whole thing. So in that sense, it's a little bit different. It's not different in the sense of a boxer in his prime or relative prime.
Carl Froch shared a similar view. He warned that Paul's size and atypical power present a serious threat to Davis, won't be used to being hit like that. Froch's concerns reflect widespread unease within boxing circles. This is seen less as a competitive bout and more as a freak show, with legitimacy and fighter safety in question. Froch has issued a stern warning about the safety risks of the next Paul versus Davis exhibition, highlighting an estimated 65 pounds weight gap.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think. But the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in, and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share, and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Froch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Meanwhile, comedian commentator Aries Spears offered a blunt take on the clash between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul, suggesting the whole event resembles performance art more than true sport. He labeled the matchup a circus, yet still backed Davis to dominate with precision power, predicting a knockout by round 3. What's striking is Spears' dual stance, scathing about the spectacle, but respectful of Davis's finishing ability. His commentary mirrors the prevailing mood, a bout filled with promotional excess that nonetheless presents a genuine threat when real gloves go on. Whether fans see it as absurd or fascinating, Spears captures the tension perfectly. It's entertainment draped in skill, and even the critics admit that Davis might just end it early.
The next fight that's coming up is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Oh, this is such a circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored -240, Jake Paul's +190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fighter.
I'm predicting a third-round knockout.
Ooh.
Third
round knockout.
He's out of there. Listen, I don't know what's the bigger joke, that fight or Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is honestly just disappointing. As a boxing fan, to just keep seeing these circuses happen over and over again.
I don't know if the rumor's true, but I heard Floyd was talking about coming out of retirement to fight Crawford. Now that's got some panache to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
but I think Floyd will end up taking a loss.
Finally.
That's the thing. He'd mess up that record.
Yeah. And I would respect him for it because we know how much he's tried to protect the record. Take the risk. This is what great fighters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because people were saying that Terrence Crawford should retire because he's, 43-0 at this point?
Okay.
He's like 37 years old. I personally don't
think But he's still got the goods, though.
Oh, he's got the goods.
Yeah, he's still got the goods.
Because Canelo was a monster. Crawford had been dominating for a while.
Right.
And he had only had 2 losses, one of which was Mayweather, very early in his career. Mm-hmm. But this whole Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis thing is just because Gervonta was supposed to fight Roach. It was supposed to be a rematch because it was, I believe, a draw last time.
Yeah.
So you go and fight Jake Paul instead? I'm sure it's a much bigger bag. I'm sure it's a much bigger bag.
And clearly that's what it's about. It's the bag,
Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have Denzel Washington fighting somebody. They're going to start putting old men. I mean, they're already putting old men in the ring.
As long as before the fight, Denzel looks at his watch and goes, 16 seconds. I'm with it.
Do you believe this fight is a legitimate boxing contest or more of a spectacle aimed at entertainment? Drop your thoughts below.